I got an emote.
Okay. How do you? Oh yeah, yeah.
Bottom left. There you go.
Hey, yeah. Hey, shh, shh. Hey,
Yeah, I'm cool.
These are
as
the
fuck.
dumbest things I've ever
And people
seen.
said the Battlefield 2042 operators were cringy. Jesus. All right, I got to preface this video by saying that the Black Ops 6 beta is still ongoing. They're actually dropping new maps and new modes as this week continues going into the open beta, which starts, I believe, later this week or into the weekend. So the beta is still ongoing. A lot of the things that I'm saying is still work in progress. Even though when it comes to these Call of Duty betas, you guys know the deal. It's pretty much what the game is going to be at launch. And what that's going to be is, honestly, for the first time in a long time, a Call of Duty that I'm actually not really vibing with. The last time I felt this way after a beta was Black Ops Cold War. So honestly, maybe Black Ops games just really aren't for me, which is totally okay this time around because like I said in a previous video, we have a ton of shooters dropping this year that are way more in line with what I want to play. We got Delta Force, we got the Forever Winter, we got fucking Stalker 2 dropping. So I'm actually not feeling very disenfranchised from the FPS space this year, but I do think the Black Ops 6 is introducing a lot of things that a lot of people are going to like. I want to talk about those, as well as some of the stuff that I just wasn't vibing with in this beta. Let's start there. The Omni movement is something that I think a lot of people are enjoying, the diving around corners. It gets fucking crazy, and I will say there are moments where I'm like, oh fuck, that dive was cool, or oh, I flip around, kill a guy 180, and you get those action-packed moments. But I think for the most part, I'm not a fan of how the game is actually playing from a pacing perspective. I will say it is a lot slower paced than I thought it was going to be. I expected crackhead level, like running around, everybody's fucking diving. What I'm finding is, even though the movement is a lot more fluid in the terms of like being able to sprint left, right, back, dive around, you have more control over your body. What I'm finding is a lot of players, or at least the more effective ones in the games that I was playing, are the ones who plant their feet on the ground and they play it like old Call of Duties. They walk around, they make sure they're ADSing around corners, they're clearing corners, and they're taking it just a little bit more slow and reserved, and they're watching for those diving around corner moments. They're watching and they're anticipating the players running around like crackheads, and that's kind of how I played as well. It took me quite a few games to realize that diving actually isn't as effective as playing the game like a normal Call of Duty title. And as I was playing, I realized like every year Call of Duty does something where it's very gimmicky. Last year was the tactical stance, and I think this time around Omni movement is the gimmick of this Call of Duty. And the problem that I have with it is like it is a complete overhaul of the movement, which I think is a very core component of FPS, but it actually doesn't do enough to make the game more enjoyable for me. It's just not my style. Although I will say, admittedly, there are a lot of people that are fucking with it. I'm seeing a lot of clips coming out online, and that's great. It's just not for me, and I think that's fair. Now, let's contrast it with something that I do like. Dude, I will say I wish I was feeling the gameplay as much as other people, because the UI and the menu system this time around is fucking phenomenal. Compared to the last few years, we got rid of the Hulu developer guy. We got fucking rid of that guy. And now we can actually navigate through these menus very, very well. Adding attachments is great. I will say the entire attachment system overhaul, where there's a lot less like cons on all of the attachments, and a lot of it is like, get your fucking gun out with as much as you possibly can because it only benefits you. I like that style. The gunsmith this time around is way more in line with where I want to see. It actually reminds me a lot more of Delta Force, even though I think Delta Force actually offers a little bit more control, a little bit more like stats for nerds style gameplay. I do like the direction that Gunsmith is going this time around. Again, I'm just not feeling the gameplay. Now, one of the big issues I was having with this beta is just the instability this time around. I've done Call of Duty betas every year for, dude, I don't even know how long. And I will say this one, at least for me, in my experience, was one of the most unstable fucking things that I have tried. I crashed pretty much after every single game. And the problem is with this new COD HQ they have going on, you have to launch into the Call of Duty HQ, You have to then wait for it to load, do its thing, go through the intros, get to the main menu, click the Black Ops 6 beta, the COD HQ shuts down, and then it boots up Black Ops 6. It's like a 2-minute start process to get even into the main menu to then get back into your party, get in with the people, find a match, queue up. It is such a pain in the fucking ass this time around to actually get in. But again, it is a beta. I think they're going to have that shit solved for launch. But in this beta, I have to, I know it's a beta, guys. I'm bringing up the issues. It's a pain in the ass. I think the Call of Duty HQ is one of the fucking worst things for this game. It's getting bloated. It's getting convoluted, having to go through so many menus. I think that is a major problem, and I just want to bring it up here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm only vibing with one of the maps that were in the original release of this beta. I know they're dropping more maps as time goes on. We got Pit and Gala. I believe those are new strike maps that dropped today. But dude, Skyline, like the house map where you can go underneath with the vents and you can activate the security system and stuff, I'm vibing with that map. I think it is the best one in the beta. Derelict, not vibing with at all. Scud, the one with the satellite dish. I'm just, dude, the flow of these maps is very fucking weird. And I gotta say, Call of Duty Staple, I think this time around is probably one of the worst feeling CODs in terms of the player spawns. I'm not a fan of Team Deathmatch for this exact reason, especially in Call of Duty. I try to avoid respawn modes like the Plague. Unfortunately, we don't have Search and Destroy in yet, so I can't actually try it. But dude, the respawns on these maps this time around are so fucking bad. There are times where I mean, here, I'll roll a clip here, watch. I get fucking executed by this guy. We're playing on Scud. I'm looking at the satellite. Dude comes up behind me. I respawn right behind him, run up, execute him. And it's like, I know Call of Duty is infamous for having terrible fucking spawns. This time around, it feels way worse. And I don't know who the fuck is designing these maps over there. Y'all need to give your head a shake. And the new game mode that we got in this beta is HVT. I have to say, I think as a game mode itself, it's a cool premise. I do really think that it would benefit from a single life mode where every round you have a new HVT, you have to protect him. The objective is to kill the other HVT. Insurgency had a mode like that I actually really enjoyed, but the HVT only had a pistol and you had to like escort them to the other side of the map. So the other team is hunting your HVT, you have to keep them protected, and they don't have a lot of, they don't have the loadout. They have a pistol, they have, I think they had a little bit of increased health. They're just, I don't know. The HVT mode for me now is like, you run and gun, there's a guy on your team, might be a blueberry, he's the HVT, you have to protect him, but the guy just doesn't fucking know that he's the HVT. He runs in, he dies. There was a round where we were playing in Skyline and we had an HVT on our team. We went down below, we rigged the security systems and we covered that HVT and we kept them alive, but it didn't really do much. It was just like, you still had to go out and hunt the other HVT. So it just feels like a mode that was like made on a whim, and like they didn't really think about the best way they could execute it, which is kind of how I feel about a lot of the modes that they come out post-launch. A lot of them just kind of feel a little bit slapped together. But I do think with the right tweaks, again, single life mode, round-based, having to protect your HVT while taking out the other teams, I think that actually could lead to a very cool game mode. I don't know if we'll ever see that, but that would be very cool. I'm not sure how the internet is feeling about this, but I don't know if you guys have noticed the footstep audio is kind of non-existent in this beta. I know usually the go-to for Call of Duty is to really ramp up the footstep audio in the betas so that everyone's like, oh man, this footstep audio is fucking great. And then they nerf it for the final game, and then it doesn't sound like it did during the beta. This time around, it feels like it was nerfed into the ground to the point where I'm struggling to hear people running right fucking beside me on the other team. It's some of the worst audio that I have heard in a Call of Duty title in quite some time. Again, this is something that they do tweak between beta and final game. I really hope they do something about that and make it better. I was getting flashbacks to the fucking silent footstep boots from Modern Warfare 3 last year that pretty much ruined the experience for me. I want to be able to hear where people are walking. I don't need to hear it thumping in my ear as loud as humanly possible, but I want to at least be a little bit effective. It's 2024. We have the technology to do it. Like, let's fucking get on it. One thing I do like is the ability to customize your HUD. They have a whole bunch of different presets, and that customization is something that I actually really fuck with in a game like this. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things with like the UI and the back end this time around that I'm really vibing with, but the gameplay itself isn't really doing anything for me to make me excited for final release. I obviously still want to try the campaign. I think that's going to be cool. I'm not very excited about Omni movement coming to Warzone. I'll be honest, I don't know if this is a Call of Duty title that I'm going to be playing this year. Much like Vanguard and much like Cold War, I just skipped those Call of Duties. I didn't talk about them. I didn't cover them. Modern Warfare 2 came out. I was right back on my radar, enjoyed the Warzone, played that. Modern Warfare 3 came around. I played that. I play Call of Duties when I like them. I don't play Call of Duties when I hate them. Every time I talk shit about X Defiant, I'm called a Call of Duty cocksucker. Every time I talk shit about Call of Duty, I'm called an old head. People telling me to go back to Arma and Squad. I know the comment section is going to be a fucking cesspool, but I don't care. I had a lot of people asking me what my thoughts are on the beta. Truthfully, guys, gameplay this time around isn't doing anything for me. Map design this time around looking pretty abysmal. The UI, UX, and the back-end stuff I'm really fucking enjoying, but that doesn't sell me on a product. The only thing I want to do is play the campaign, and I'm getting flashbacks to last year, Modern Warfare 3 campaign, the worst Call of Duty campaign in human history. But because this game has 4 years of development, they're trying some new things on the multiplayer side. I'm not going to fault them for it. I'm just going to let you guys know it's just not for me. I don't hate the Omni movement. I just understand that it's not doing anything for me personally. Everybody has different preferences. I just don't care to play it. The single player stuff, still very excited in that story, but I don't know if that's enough to make me want to buy the product when it comes out. I know it's on Game Pass. Oh, it's on Game Pass. You don't have to buy it. Subscription service models for video games, I think, is some of the worst shit that has ever been introduced, even worse than microtransactions. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people like getting good deals. They don't have to pay full price for games anymore. That's great. I think it just excuses mediocrity. And I think in a lot of conversations we've had over a bunch of different games over the years, everyone always says, yeah, it's kind of mid, but I got it on Game Pass, so I didn't have to pay for it. Not realizing that that is exactly why we keep getting mediocre games. But that's a whole other conversation. Black Ops 6, not vibing with it this year. Not mad at it, though. I think mainly because I do know I have a lot of shooters coming out in the pipeline here very soon that are going to give me the feeling and the vibes that I'm actually looking for. And I can just skip this Call of Duty without really being pissed off about it. And that's where I'm at. Let me know what you guys think down below. Are you playing the beta? Are you waiting for open beta coming this weekend? Let me know. Are you excited? Are you probably watching some gameplay? Let me know. Let's have a conversation down below. As always, my name is Big Fry. Leave a like on the video and subscribe for more FPS content. And I'll see you on the next one.